Okay, hello. Let's play like a little bit of a spooky game, but not too spooky again. The final prize is so actually I like this game a lot. Last time I was a little scared, but like how scary it would be, but actually it's not scary at all. Like most of the scary stuff seems to happen out of the screen. Hello. So I'm just enjoying the atmosphere. Anyway, let's play, I guess. Last time we got past like the first trial, I guess. A little bit into the second one. Okay, let me get on my place then. Okay. So I think it is like second day or something now. Like in the second trial. Not sure like how many days it was, like maybe 5 or something. It doesn't matter, hopefully. Hopefully we can just enjoy and not think too much about the puzzles. The ground rotated, opening up the wall and throwing me to the other side before promptly sealing the wall shut again. Is there like history at this point, like what happened even last time? Oh yeah, we were just casually talking. Casually touching the wall. That's what was happening. Like immediately at the start of the second day of the trial. The momentum of the trapdoor threw me off balance and I fell to the ground. Hello. I pushed myself back to my feet, patting up my hands. Are you alright? I heard young Sue push at the wall to no avail. She seemed to be smacking it and even kicked at it. The touch carrying through better than her voice. I'm alright. I called to her across the wall. Looking around, this hallway didn't seem to be directly connected to the hallway I had just left by accident. It would be pretty mean like if they were just like, you're supposed to search for the key and if you could just like randomly die like while searching, that would not be great. Like what can you do at that point? I tried pushing at the wall from my side, but I couldn't get the trapdoor to open up again either. It doesn't look like I can get back to you easily. Let's split up for now, so we don't waste any time. There's only a day and a half left to find the key. Okay, I guess it was just 3 days then. I could remind you there. Daylight still trickled in from the nearby windows. However, given the little progress made by the shrinking group of survivors, we couldn't waste precious time. See you at dinner. Okay, see you at dinner. Thus, I turned away from the trapdoor wall and began exploring the new section I found myself in. Hearing a quiet crackling sound, I proceeded closer and found a fireplace. Embedded discreetly in the wall, the flames danced and flickered, radiating red warmth. They seemed to reach out toward me, causing me to stumble back. An image of fire flashed in the back of my head. A sudden sharp pain spiked through my skull, and I grasped at my head with a groan. I lost my sense of equilibrium, backing into the wall so that I could lean against. So does the main character have have like a trauma about fire or something. I grit my teeth. The flames were in my eyes. Let me also like turn a little bit. I choked, feeling a strange rawness in my throat. Using the wall as support, I slowly made my way away from that area. Although my breathing cleared, a dull headache and unsteadiness persisted. I guess they would have to clean up the chimney or something. So focused on my discomfort, I didn't notice the footsteps approaching. That was when the air seemed to freeze. Oh, who is this? An unfamiliar monster, a tall woman with red hair, and her entourage of followers passed by me. Every cell me screamed to get away from her. Already lightheaded from the episode before, I felt I couldn't breathe under her suffocating aura. I met her eyes, a mismatched red and orange. And my consciousness cut out. He, the marshal of the central altar, sleeps at the hour of the dragon and snake, together with the sacrificed key, cursing the father blessed by the gods. With the deadline looming over our heads, one had to ask. Central altar. No idea like if the fireplace actually has anything to do with that. I guess like fireplace can be like a central place in a way. What was the meaning of the dragon and the snake? Like hour sounds like time though. Can we save it just in case? Sounds like time. Because hour of the dragon, like how could it be a location then? Time. For example, the time at which the key would reveal itself. That is a trope, I guess. Like the like the oblivion kinda thing where it appears at midday. Though at the spot where everybody would surely see it, but though probably not the case here. That seemed terribly unfair. Yeah, but maybe there are clues. Also like, though, not sure if this trial thing is too fair to begin with. Had anyone else said that the trial would be fair? Anywhere ever? Yeah, well no, I guess. In the previous game, 11 had used old-fashioned way of saying time with animals. Therefore, the dragon and the snake could certainly have been the same. I tried to think of what time those animals referred to. I don't exactly know too much about snakes. A voice in my head spoke. Hour of the dragon and hour of the snake referred to the period between 7 AM and 11 AM. But no idea what the logic is. I guess like snakes need to like warm up. Like in the morning. Like there is that I know about snakes at least. Them being like the lizardy kind of creatures. If that were the case, then we had only one more chance. My thoughts ended. Suddenly, I was snapped back to reality by someone shaking my shoulder, and that someone's familiar voice. Hello. Black spots faded away from my vision. I stumbled right into the person who was shaking me, nearly knocking us both down before I regained my bearings. Yangsu. The last thing I remembered, I had lost consciousness, apparently standing, after seeing a strange woman. I didn't know how much time had passed since. The sun had set. More than that, the sky was pitch black. Unease ran through my chest. What time is it? Just about curfew. You missed dinner and you weren't in your room, so I came out to find you. I was scared, Dad. Why did you miss dinner? Fast footsteps and sharp scraping noise cut off my words. At the end of the hall, I spotted a pair of maids. No, nothing about them looked human. I spotted a pair of monsters who had certainly spotted us with their many eyes. We have to run. Youngs and I began to run the opposite direction of the monsters, which similarly began to sprint after us. We quickly reached the fork, causing me to hesitate for a moment. I didn't know where this was. I didn't know the best way to go. I didn't know if I'd run into a dead end. We didn't have time to hesitate. I guess we could just follow her. Yangsu grabbed my hand. This way. Sounds of the monster sounded right next to my ear. Tugging, she pulled me along to run. We ran, making turns here and there until I was dizzy. We ran. Yet for every meter we ran, the monsters seemed to move too. Their movements scraping against the floor, their eyes so terribly hungry as they pierced our backs. The monsters were gaining on us. Still holding Yangsu's hand, I felt her beginning to lag and pant. I knew where we were now. Seeing a monster reach out to grab Yangsu, I yanked her out of the wall and practically dragged her to run as I chucked a random object in the hole straight into the monster's face. We had to go. We had to run. We were so close to safety. The assigned room was only a few meters away. The monsters were even closer. Through sheer force of will, I pushed Yangsu through the door and slid into the room. Slam! The moment my entire body was inside the room, I slammed the door shut, smashing against the fingers of one of the monsters that had reached to grab us. Ignoring the wriggling digits that turned to black ooze, I locked the door. Ooze dripped to the floor and evaporated. Well, I guess they are. They are not human for sure. Knock, 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 knock. Well, like at this point, like it is 100% obvious who were knocking the last time. Neither Yangsu nor I were foolish enough to open the door. I watched the door and backed away further into the room, picking up any solid object that I could use to bash the monsters with should they make their way into the room. My heart was about to beat out of my chest. Knock, 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 knock. Not once did the monster seem to touch the handle or try to open the door. I wondered if the monsters had to follow rules for the game as well. I guess maybe that is the case. Finally, the knocking stopped. But hopefully nobody else is foolish either to open. I got the feeling that all the other survivors won't be survivors at the end. Only once I heard the monsters leave did I return the makeshift weapon I picked up back to its original position. Are they gone? I think so. I collapsed like a slug face first into the bed, rolling around into my back to more easily breathe. My limbs felt like jelly. Seeing Yangsu sit down on the bed next to me, I pushed myself up to a sitting position to accompany her. Thanks. Question mark. For saving me. She shook her head. I don't know what happened. I saw this ominous woman and then I just blacked out. She wasn't one of the survivors, one of the servants. But that's what happened. Well, like how likely is it that you see a woman and faint? I was really worried. If you hadn't come to find me, then I think I would have been a goner. I hate that. No one at dinner found the key today either, so we are here for another night. No luck on my end. I let out a sigh. Sitting in subdued silence, Yangsu retrieved her phone from her pocket. I have some pictures of the mansion that I want to review. I'll look too. See like what up close like the servants. But not that I really want to. It's fine. I scooted closer to her on the bed, my fingers brushing against her hand by accident. We reviewed the dozens, maybe even hundreds of photos Yangsu took of various places across the mansion grounds. Not one hint of the key could be found. Let's go back to the riddle we saw on the first day. Yangsu opened the photo of the plague. He, the marshal of the central altar. Well, like, I don't think we have seen like male characters exactly. Central altar. Sleeps the tower of the dragon and snake. Or it could also be like a void like that time then. Like marshal is not a key, marshal is a person. Together with the sacrifice's key. Cursing the father blessed by the gods. It could be that that person has the key too. That's a possibility, I guess. And animations, like the characters also have these tiny animations. They have put a lot of effort. Not that I want to look at the monsters too much. Characters are a different matter though. Characters are nice. Who is the marshal of the central altar supposed to be? Well, like surely the marshal is not the central altar. That doesn't really add up. But who is Nessa? The title tugged at the memory buried deep within my head. A name danced upon the tip of my tongue, something I remembered from when I was younger. I seemed to have watched a show as a child with a character with that title. Nessa. Is Nessa the marshal of the central altar? I don't know, like Nessa is kind of a cool name, but marshal of the central altar is a little lame title. Yes, I guess Nessa is the marshal of the central altar, but what does it mean? It's his Taoist name. Other one of his titles is Third Lotus Prince. But that's like a little cooler name, at least, or title. Third Lotus Prince, though. What does that mean? Because he was reborn from lotus roots. Maybe. Although temptations of journey to the west far outnumbered those focused on Nessa. I had still watched a few cartoons and dramas focusing on Nessa when I was younger. Wonder like why it feels like sometimes skipping lines even though I'm just pressing once. I guess like these really short ones are really short. This could also be like what kind of cartoons have they even shown in China? I would imagine that it is pretty different from the West. Like not sure like how well like Tom and Jerry or something like that would fit like China. He was a mythological figure. A mischievous boy born out of a ball of flesh after a gestation period of over 3 years. Popping out of the flesh ball as a full-grown boy rather than an infant. After the ball was cut open by his father, the boy proceeded to kill a dragon god at some point. Okay, it's kind of like Greek mythology kind of thing, I guess. Amidst various shenanigans, which may have had liberties taken with them for the sake of television, Nessa died and was brought back to life by a lotus root by his Taoist master. Well, like, I guess like it is like mythology, so it doesn't need to make sense, but storytelling wise like why die if you don't die? After a conflict with his father, Nessa ended up being trapped in a golden pagoda given to his father by the gods to tame Nessa. So the adaptation of familiar with wind. Golden pagoda. I guess that would make sense. Like it's a place at least. I don't remember how the riddle went, but if the guy is sleeping, then Like sleeping in a golden pagoda would make sense, I guess. The boy deity also appeared in Journey to the West, and its various adaptations with a slightly different backstory. With Nesha as the marshal of the central altar, as well as a character with enmity against his father, I felt he must have been relevant to the riddle describing our key. Why is central altar though? Like that's not explained at all. Like Lotus, sure, like that makes sense at least. Lotus Prince thing. Why central altar of all things? I think we are onto something. The problem was that neither Yangsu nor I could figure out the last piece of the puzzle to connect us to the answer. After mulling over the riddle for a while longer, the two of us tucked in for bed. Night passed. Morning came and passed as well, uneventfully with no key in sight for any of the survivor group. If this is the last day and like it is in the morning, well, it's kind of yikesy. Any survivors still left, including Yangsu and I, gathered in the dining room during lunch, feeling the pressure of the now looming deadline. Less than half a day remained. No one knew where the key could be. Although I had missed dinner the previous night, I could clearly see that survivor count had decreased between yesterday noon and yesterday noon to this morning to now. According to the others, we had dug through just about the whole mansion. They had explored the cellar, attic, even the servants' quarters, but the unlucky survivor had nearly gotten himself eaten alive. They saw a riddle when exploring. It might be a clue to where the key is located. I think I remember seeing something like that too. What was it? Martial Dragon. I exchanged looks with Yangsu. Not exactly a dragon if the guy like defeated a dragon. Yangsu took her phone out from her pocket, drawing suspicious looks from the other survivors, and opened up the photo of the Blake to show the others. He, the marshal of the central altar, sleeps at the hour of the dragon and snake, together with the sacrifice's key, cursing the father blessed by the gods. But there is the like, but not liking the father part too. But well, I guess it is the same person, but it doesn't say too much either. Like beyond that. Does anyone have any idea what this riddle could mean? The survivors murmured amongst themselves. A few piped up with ideas and interpretations, but no one thought of anything new or clearly actionable. It seemed the riddle was still unsolved. As we were about to move on to another topic or possibly disperse, one of the younger survivors spoke up, crossing her arms in annoyance. Why do you have your cell phone? That. I also used my phone all the time when I was alive. But I don't have my phone with me in the afterlife. Some gloomy looking freak has hers. Are we sure she's not in cahoots with the game masters? What are you trying to say? Narrowing my eyes, I protectively moved to block the aggressive survivor from Yangsu. The eyes of the group grew unfriendly as they whispered amongst themselves. But that took a quick turn though. But like why? I guess like young person is cell phone addict too. Calm down. Maybe she just got lucky and hit it well, so she got to keep her phone. Since we are here, why don't we ask the girl to try calling civilization to get us all out of this hellhole? Though unlikely to work. The group agreed. I gripped my fist in irritation but looked toward Yangsu to see how she felt about it. Clearly we had no signal in the first round. We didn't seem to have any last night either. Can we try that again? She nodded. Extending her hand to show her cell phone, she called 110. There was no signal and the call failed to go through. Give that to me. Taking advantage of Yangsu's extended hand, the teenager tried to yank it out of her hand. Others began to push toward the two of us as well. Back up. Yangsu backed away, pulling her phone closer to herself. Didn't that creepy judge say that we are all dead? How did you randos die, huh? Bet you died in a dirty, stinky ditch, somewhere where no one cares about you. Yeah, but so what? So what? Perhaps you are doing what young people these days call projecting. Huh. Just looking at your balding head makes me smell the residual stink. Can we calm down and get back to what you want to share with class the way you died? The other players had already begun fighting amongst themselves, arguing about what this teenager was talking about. Why though? Despite not knowing how I died, I had the suspicion that most of the other survivors knew how they died. You shouldn't ask people that. Maybe I should. That game master judge girl said that we are all sinners here. So you all must have been some really messed up people who died in real messed up ways to get here. Well, you two Brutus. What did you do to get pulled into this sinner game? You must be a total creep. But meet kettle. Bickering, pushing, the survivor group devolved into chaos. Yangsu tugged at my jacket silently, looking like she wanted to leave the dining room as soon as possible. I felt tempted to go as well. Yup, well, they are just wasting time. However, before we could leave, the teenage survivor turned the group's attention back toward us. And really, what is with phone girl? You're right, why does she have a phone? So what? Why do you have like clothes or anything? Taking advantage of his size, the middle-aged man who had thought initially reasonable plucked Yang's phone right out of her hands. Well, probably not going to help them though. Yangsu reached for it only to be blocked by other survivors. Give that back, it doesn't belong to you. Even if she is innocent, we can make better use of this phone. How do you unlock this thing? Seriously, give it back. Give it to me. I know how to use it better than an old man like you. Hopefully, she had it locked or something. Noisy, this place was really noisy. Clang. A plate fell to the ground. More accurately, Yang-Su threw a plate to the ground. The room fell silent in surprise. Then she opened her mouth to speak loudly and clearly. Give my phone back to me. Walking up to the middle-aged man through the crowd that appeared surprised to see Yang-Su speak at all, Yang-Su took her phone back. She wiped it off with a napkin and held it close to her chest. Sending a glare towards the other survivors, she walked away, exiting the dining room. She really likes the phone, I guess, but well, also it's really rude to take it like that from her. So I do kinda see why. Rather annoyed myself, I copied Yang's glare and made to leave. You should consider resuming the key search before wasting any more time bullying people. I exited the dining room without waiting for a response. I found Yang-Su in the hallway, not too far away. Are you alright? Nah. I can't stand people. Yang-Su let out a deep sigh and stared down at her feet. After a while of silence, I felt her tug at my jacket sleeve. I get that people are sometimes troublesome, but not standing, but not like people at all. That's a little bit of a stretch. Let's try to find the key. Yeah. We continued our search. Time passed. Out of the blue, air changed, and Eleven's voice sounded out from the sky, reminding me of the first round of the mountain. On the mountain. The feast for the king of the 11th court will commence in approximately 1 hour. Nope, I guess we are going to get eaten then. We were almost out of time. 1 hour. Just 1 hour left. Maybe the snake and dragon thing was about the place then. But it sounds kind of wrong though. We didn't have any time left to wander around and hope for the best. We had to figure out just where exactly the key was hidden. He, the marshal of the central altar, sleeps at the hour of the dragon and snake. Together with the sacrifice key, cursing the father, blessed by the gods. I guess the key could also be in the dinner. Because most survivors are going to be sacrificed. But sacrifice key thing we haven't seen a clue for that exactly. The other ones maybe, but even the hour of the dragon and snake. I guess the dragon could be well, because the guy defeated the dragon god. Maybe that's the dragon then. I guess like in that sense it could be a location too, I guess. Like some more lore about the myth would be handy. My brain clicked. Ah, that. Based on the riddle, the key should be somewhere in the southeast. The one place that we haven't checked yet. Why though? Why? Inside that pond with the lotus flowers. Well, I guess that makes sense. Dragon and the snake refer to the directions. Southeast, the marshal of the central altar is Nesha, the lotus flowers. Well, I guess it was location then. We turned to look to the southeast in unison. Exchanging looks, we nodded and started running down the hall toward the garden in that direction. It wasn't like last time, like hopefully it's not like in the water of the pond basically. We reached the garden and stepped right in front of the pond. Beside the greenery and flowers it seemed unassuming, with the pretty white pink lotus flowers floating upon its surface. Likely no one had thought to search within it. No nets or tools inside tears. Jansen looked left and right, trying to find something to poke into the pond with. But we didn't have the time for that. I'm pretty good at swimming. What? It doesn't look that deep anyway. Without thinking further, I dove into the pond with a splash. The water soaking into my clothes hindered my movement, and I forced myself downward, opening my eyes. The pond wasn't so deep that light couldn't reach the bottom. Bubbles escaping as I conserved my oxygen. I quickly spotted something that reflected the water, filtered sunlight, sitting in the silt of the pond floor. It was a cold golden pagoda figure. Okay, well, the pagoda is there too, I guess. I swam toward the pagoda and lifted it from the ground. From it dropped an object that I grabbed before it touched the pond bottom. As Eleven stated, the moment I saw the key, I knew that we had found it. More bubbles escaped from my nose. A muffled celebratory jingle reached my ears from above the water surface. I had to go up, otherwise I'd run out of air before I had a chance to win this round. Gripping the key in my hand, I pushed myself off the pond floor and began to swim upward. The light above the water grew brighter. I was almost there. That was when something yanked my leg and began to pull me down. Oh. In my shock, air escaped from my mouth. I struggled to swim upward, just my hand splashing up above the pond surface. Then I felt myself being pulled down again. I was out of air. Rip. I couldn't accept this, but the thing overpowered me. I glanced down just a moment, seeing a rotting creature that resembled the maids dragging me down, a water ghost. I extended my hand toward the surface. It was growing further away, even as I kicked at the monster and tried to swim. No. A thin hand grabbed mine. She pulled desperately for my sake. Yangsu pulled against the force of the ghost, dragging me down and pulled me above the water. I gasped for air. Hello. Crack. Using the ground as leverage, I kicked the ghost away and lifted the rest of me out of the water with Yangsu's help. The monster poked its head above the water for a quick second before diving back down, waiting for its next victim. Splash. That's kinda mean too, but I guess it doesn't need to be fair. Finally, having a chance to catch my breath, I sat on the ground for a few moments and breathed air. My clothes were wet with water, weighing me down and leaving a puddle on the ground. I gestured for Yangshu to hold out her hand. As she did, I dropped the key into her open palm. You found it. Yeah. As I forced myself back up to my feet, an announcement came from the sky. Congratulations. The key has been found. All players should make their way to the banquet hall for the feast. We made it. A maid wearing its human facade approached us and bowed. In its hand, it held a towel, which it passed to me to use to dry up. Please follow me to the banquet hall. Not sure like how this is pronounced either. It could be something different because it doesn't sound like an English like originating word. It could be banquet or something. Just like that, we reached into the banquet hall. The moment we entered, the key disappeared from Yang's hand. It seemed that the key's role was finished, once again reminding me that we were in the afterlife. In the banquet hall was a long table. At its head sat a tall, red-haired woman. I saw the day before, her gaze sending a chill down my spine. The woman spoke. Congratulations, you have made it to the feast of the third night and passed the second round of my game of life. It is her, I guess. I am the king of the 11th court. First sit. I guess like it is king in like a more gender neutral sense. I spotted 11 sitting beside the king. The seat beside 11 on empty. All of the other survivors sat themselves. A number of seats further away from the king had been left unoccupied in sets of 3, 2 or 3. I contemplated where I should sit. Oh, we are going for Yangshu, so that's where I guess. Probably like at this point it is too late to change the chorus. Actually like in the intermission between like the missions, like you need to go for 11 for it to work. But even if you didn't, like it would be nice to do that, to actually like know what's going on. I want to sit closer to the door. Sure, the shuttered door has nothing to do with her. Sure. Finding 2 seats by the door, we sat down and glanced at the far other end where the king sat. Start the feast. The king clapped her hands once. Then the servants began to lay out various dishes atop the long table, placing shared utensils on each dish to let all of the guests serve themselves. The food looked different from what we had in the dining hall during the time we spent at this mansion. The meat glistened with strange sauce. The vegetables and pastries appeared a level higher in craftsmanship. Like in this kind of like situation, like eating the vegetables sounds safer. But especially there being like the cannibalism warning on the game page. And the food looking different. The two of us picked up some food to eat. I put a piece of the strange meat into my mouth and paused. I don't recommend that. This is like the moment where being vegan is handy, I guess. Crunch. It tastes strange. Crunch, crunch. It really tastes strange. A slick, salty, metallic feeling coating on my tongue. Tempted to spit it out, I looked at Yang-Su, who was eating the same thing. Without any reaction, I swallowed the piece in my mouth, resisting the urge to gag. Then I picked up my cup and drank water till the flavor left my tongue. I didn't need to eat during the feast. I don't know, like the fruit seemed nice at least. The meat, doesn't sound like a great idea, but sure, you ate it. What do you think about the meat? It tastes normal. I don't know if we should eat it. Alright, I trust you. Yang-Su put down her fork and wiped her mouth with a provided napkin. In the meanwhile, can I ask you whether you want to go back to life and reincarnate if you pass the next round of this game? Is there like that kind of option too, like not going back? But then it is like a more complicated thing. And is it, and anyway, like do you like I guess they said that you can like go like revive basically, but it's like the other option like to like will basically lose your memory and be reborn as something else. I think the lore was like that. Of course, I want to go back to life. I plan to live till at least my 80s. Dying permanently in my mid-20s would be a huge waste of my retirement plans. I've still got a lot left to do. But that's like pretty long retirement plans. What about you? I don't know. Going back to life would be alright with me. But reincarnating would be alright as well. I'm not sure. Reincarnating would mean drinking Mengpo's soup and wiping away all my memories of this lifetime. I wonder how it works. For example, would it be able to wipe away all the feelings you ever had in this lifetime? I guess probably. It seems sad if so. Why, isn't it better to not have to feel any of the sadness of your previous life? That's probably why the memory wipe thing is there. But then you can't remember any of the happiness either. Even the happiness, I don't think you're supposed to be able to remember where it came from. That really seems so sad. There's nothing left to be sad about. In fact, wouldn't you be happy if you cannot remember being happier or sadder? I would say no. Why? That's my gut feeling. I see. I looked carefully at Youngsu, the girl who I grew up with. Talking about forgetting, I found myself wanting to commit every bit of her to my memory. Like, I would say, like, if you forget everything, you're just a different person, basically. Like, even like in the like hypothetical amnesia thing, like if you forget everything, I guess you're a different person, basically. For example, she had pretty eyes, a cute nose, soft lips, and these days, like to dye the inner section of her hair. She was a bit shorter than me and didn't go out in the sun much. At the very least, I'd be sad if I forgot about you. Youngsu was the only Youngsu in the world. It is probably a pretty like mixed feeling because they broke up. Also, like, we don't know like how she died, but I kinda got a bad feeling about it. Like, it feels like she was like more of the like loner kind of person, and she was depending on the protagonist a lot. Me too. I don't want to forget you. I put my hand on top of hers. Her slender fingers felt chilly, but I would warm her up. Alright. Another point against reincarnation for me. I don't like drinking soup. I don't know. Like, soup can be nice. Even if it's magic soup. Wouldn't magic soup be even worse? I can't imagine how it would taste. I'm imagining it's like the Stardew Valley, like wizard kind of soup. Like the green kind of soup that makes you hallucinate. I don't know, soup is pretty yummy. Yeah, soup can be yummy. If it were like strawberry soup or something, that would be nice. Kinda want to make strawberry soup now. I haven't eaten that in ages, but it's really nice. It's more of a dessert than like an actual like main course. Rather than eating, we decided to chat. Luckily, sitting at the far end of the table, no one, not the survivors, not the king, not the servant, bothered to interrupt our conversation. The feast continued for a while longer. Then the low bell tolled, signaling the end of our time in this round. Okay, now we are back here. Second part, well, like if you know like nothing about the like Chinese folklore, it's a little bit of a, like out of the blue, like the solution and stuff. But not that it really matters. When I opened my eyes, I once more returned to my familiar yet lifeless apartment. I leaned against the wall, hand pressing against familiar feeling, fiddling with a hole that I had made once upon a time with a nail to hang a whiteboard. Even now, I felt as if I could awaken from this nightmare to find that all of this was a dream. Yet I would not wake. Only one round remained of the game of life. After all of the close calls I had in the past 2 games, I still had no idea how I died, having no time for introspection when running for my life. I wondered how I lost my life. Like the fire thing, and like the main character having a bad feeling about that. I guess it would make sense, like it's the way of like dying that you have like no idea how it happened. I just hope like Yangshu didn't like torch the building or something. That would be awkward. That would be like beyond yandere kind of behavior. Well, this is technically a horror game, so I guess it would fit the theme, but no thanks. Was I murdered? If some unknown entity held a grudge against me and brutalized me to the point of amnesia even in the afterlife, I wondered if I wanted to remember. But it's also like, it's casting a little bit of shade on Yangshu, but hopefully that's just me. Was it a natural disaster? Climate change had certainly increased the instances of floods, landslides, fires, and whatnot in the region. Perhaps I simply dropped dead of a heart attack. I'd always thought that my family's genes were pretty resilient. None of my grandparents ever having heart issues or strokes. None of these questions bore any results. Mulling over my unclear death wouldn't give me any answers. I think it's either the fire or the isekai truck thing. I'm saving just in case, but I guess like opening the door is for getting 11 arrive basically. But we are all in Yangshu. Knock knock. I rubbed my knuckles on Yangshu's door, not knowing if she would be in that room, which should have long been vacated. Before I could call out to her, the door opened on its own. I never had any automatic door opening system built into my apartment, so that definitely was not supposed to have happened. Yangshu was sitting on the carpet, fiddling with her phone in one hand and holding an open can of beer in the other. As I approached, she set the beer down, making sure not to spill it. Do you have a signal? Yangshu shook her head. I took a seat next to her, careful not to lean against the bed since I was still in outdoor clothes. At least I had magically dried off between getting out of the pond and now. Leaning toward her, I couldn't help but grin. You cracked open a cold one pretty quickly if we both got back to our places at the same time. You're the one who always went out drinking for work, coming home late all the time. Now it's drama time, I guess. It really is part of my job. Can't get anywhere without the after-work socializing. Although I do wish I got paid a bit more in exchange for all of that unpaid time. Your company's lab really doesn't go out much, huh? She leaned on my chest and shook her head. Her face looked flushed, a cute pink dusted across her cheeks. Her eyes a little bit watery. This was how she looked when she was drunk. I wondered how long had passed since the last time we drank together. Although right now I was absolutely sober, not a drop of alcohol in me, she must have really chugged that beer. I only drink once in a while when I'm stressed. Not that it matters since I'm dead. I poked her forehead, eliciting a little yelp from her. Let's get through that last round and then we won't be dead anymore, alright? Want to come with me next time I get invited to something fancy? Absolutely no way. I'm so bad with people. Do I know the feeling? Like yesterday, I was in the the local queer crafty group, and some people were we are going to have Halloween party, and asking basically everybody do you want to come? And I was like it's Friday, so I'm going to be streaming, so it's not going to be possible. But also half of me that is not saying anything is well, it's a party, so I don't really want to go. Or maybe the party kind of party, just a few people, it kind of depends what kind of party, but they were more we are going to drink and going to some nightclub basically, that kind of thingy. I'm not sure if nightclub is the right word, basically just a place where you dance and sing karaoke, that kind of thing. But I'm also bad with people, so I don't like that kind of places. So it is a no. I would need earplugs or something to even go. It would be too noisy. I did go once, to watch. There was some queer performances, before the dancing part. I went there and that was fine, but then the music and dancing part. At least going alone, it's a struggle. Going with somebody I wanted to dance with, then it would be different, I guess. I could make the sacrifice for that, of the social energy and stuff. Anyway, yeah. Sometimes you just have to put yourself out there. Most people are pretty easy to talk to once you get past greetings. It's not so bad once you get the hang of it. She slightly smacked my arm. Not that. It's kinda difficult to put in the words, you kinda know what you're supposed to do, but it just feels tiring to do it. really hate it when you say those sorts of things. Yeah, but it does make sense on like some level. Like in theory, like it's not difficult. But in practice, I can't do it. But the thing is that I could see myself like being able to do it, but like maybe once, like do it once and then I can be like, yeah, I was able to do it, but then after that, like, do I want to do it like frequently? Not really. I'm just a useless person who can't change, can't grow up, can't talk to people, can't do anything. I can only do things at my own pace. Well, that's fine too, I think, though. Like growing up, like, I don't know what is growing up even. Like even like if you're a loner, like you don't really want to like have this mindset. Like it just makes your life worse. You want to have like some faith in yourself at least. It is easier then. I just can't be normal. Well, I can't be either, but doesn't matter. It's fine to not be normal. Yangsu. Whatever, I'm bad with people. I just hate people. Why can't they all disappear and leave me alone? But that's a little extreme. I'm sorry. Turned her head away from me. She wouldn't look at me, pulling away. For snapping at you. I shook my head. I'm sorry. I apologized. I know that I can be overbearing, if that's the right word, inconsiderate. Acting like the world should work my way all the time. Giving advice that no one asked for. Well, I guess like I also like, I see like how this happens. Like sometimes it is just like in person it's easier, but like when like communicating with text only, then it's hard to see like what people are like trying to say, like are they looking for advice or not. Like in person it's kind of easier, but it can be a struggle. I apologize not just for now, but also for all the other moments that I should have told her sorry. Sat in silence for a few moments. Do you still remember how we met? Junior high. It was summer, just before summer break. During that exam period when the A/C broke halfway through the day. When the next thing was electric fans circulating humid heat. Or like AC's air conditioning. Like usually. Well, I guess you can write it with the /2. Somehow the slash like tripped me up. Where they're like doing an exam and then like basically like the cooling of the school will malfunctioned. I shouldn't remember what happened over 10 years ago so vividly. But I really thought I was going to die from the heat. Finally, out from the last exam. What was it even? I just remember struggling to get to the canteen or vending machine or anything for a drink of water. And then bumping into you. We didn't know each other at that point, but without hesitation you gave me a bottle of water you were carrying. We chatted about this moment many times before, so the memory had almost certainly been beautified. Yet to speak of it again, in our mid-20s, tickled my heart. I was on the basketball team in junior high, so I usually carried extra water bottles with me. Haha, at that time, I didn't think that it would come in handy that I carried extras. Still, it was water. My cool and gallant savior. You know what I remember the most about that time? That there was a pretty girl who I met after the exams who got assigned to the same class as me in the class chapel after summer break. Rest is history. Who's this pretty girl you're talking about? Yeah, I wonder. You know her better than anyone else in this world. Don't think that I'm joking about calling you pretty. Well, now the main character is flirting, I guess. The really pretty girl who I wanted to become close to from first sight turned out to be my new classmate, Cheng Youngsu. Lady luck loved me, so I didn't even have to ask anyone to switch seats to get assigned to one next to you on the first day of the term. But I would have if I had to. Aren't those words something you made up when we started dating? It's the truth. Otherwise, what's the point of saying it now? After all, we had already broken up. Now let me hydrate you. Like usually I'm not like big fan of the like ex-drama kind of stories, but I don't know, like somehow this is nice though. Now if I had said that I knew right away that you were kind and clever, well, that would probably have been something I made up, even if it turned out to be true. A little red crept up to her ears. I thank you, classmate Quan Hilo, for the glowing character recommendation. I aim to please, classmate. Ha ha ha. Then Yangsu leaned against me again just for a moment. The silence that filled the air was soft, gentle, just like her, reminding me of the past. Yet I couldn't bask in that atmosphere of nostalgia for too long, as she distanced herself a little, appearing almost lonely even though I was right here. Nah, whatever happens, you have to pass the third round and pass the trial. I'll make sure of it. Despite being the way I am, I can pull through for the moments that count. It's the balance of karma For every bad thing, there has to be a good thing, or something like that. Pushing the long forgotten can of beer further away, Yangtze rose to her feet. The karmic balance will be altered if we keep chatting, so... She tugged at my arm, making me follow suit in standing up, and started shuffling me toward the door. Why? Because it makes me too happy. Suddenly, I was getting pushed out the door. See you, ? See you. I stepped out of her room, and the door closed softly behind me. Before long, the low bell tolled, signaling the start of the third and final round. I'm kind of feeling again the struggle, like thinking about playing this, like the other route of this game. I don't know, like Yangtze is kind of like my kind of girl, I guess. But too bad, like it's so like difficult to find like this kind of like quiet girls in real life. Like, what are you even supposed to do, like Tinder or something? But I guess like Tinder, how is that supposed to work either? But I can also like see a little bit of me in Yangtze, I guess. There is that. Like, I don't know, like how she would be good at Tinder. I'm definitely not. Still haven't even bothered with it, like after breaking up. Maybe one day if I get super desperate, but now it's fine for now. I followed through empty black space. This was different. Shouldn't I be moving on to the next game? Did the trial start already? Questions rushed through my mind as I prepared myself for a trial of black space. Black space, I guess, like handy for the developers if it's just black background, but hopefully not. Please give me some graphics. Yet neither sound nor sight of 11 to give the rules could be found. My feet finally touched solid ground, and the scene blossomed in front of me. But that's not black at all. Mimi sat in front of me, lovely despite the tears that dotted the edge of her eyes. I love you, Mimi. Already struggling. Why? My heart dropped. My voice, but not my mouth, not right now, at least. The moment that had been haunting me for weeks. I love you, Mimi. I love you so much. How many times did I say those words that day? I never actually said it out loud, did I? Otherwise she wouldn't be making that face. Or maybe I did, and perhaps I was just remembering incorrectly. Lulu. I love you, Mimi, but this can't go on. I'm breaking up with you. I knew this was coming. The music and everything. This kind of scenes like this is tougher than the horror. The words weighed heavily on me. Not me then. Me right now. I was so certain back then. The fact that Mimi didn't respond Didn't fight back, only made Lulu more confident. What are you supposed to do in this kind of situation? I'll try to just play past this and then talk. Otherwise it's going to be too much of a struggle. She stared sullenly at Lulu. Tears at the edge of her at the edge of her eyes growing larger and her lips trembling. Completely blindsided by this sudden breakup. You're insecure, clingy, depending on me for everything. Oh, don't do this when you're breaking up. This is really cruel. Even if it is true, I don't recommend this. You're supposed to be smart, yet you can't think for yourself. I guess like the protagonist is just like Bo. Let's make sure she's not coming back. That's kinda how it feels like. That. Mimi still didn't respond, but she gripped edges of her sleeves so hard her hands were trembling. You can't order food, you can't make your own decisions, you can't even put leftovers in the microwave when you're hungry. You don't have a license and you hate public transport, so I have to drive you everywhere. Need me to walk through the dishwasher instructions every time. And you whine to me about work in the middle of the day, the moment a task isn't obvious. I got my own work to do, own job to do. I can't always be helping you out. Enough. Just because she wasn't responding didn't give you the right to barrage her with these insults. Look at her, Lulu. Mimi's bottom lip was white with how hard she was biting onto it. The way she shook was indicative of how much she wanted to let go and sob. Yet not a single sob slipped past those lips. Nothing to say. You're right. The Lulu in my memory let out a sigh, disappointed. Perhaps she wanted me to fight back. I'll talk about this later when I get there, but oh no. But I have things to say about this. Like, especially like when you're like her kind of person, I guess. I'm supposed to be your girlfriend, not your mom. You need to grow up and be yourself. The pink in that apartment didn't serve to be suffocated. And I was letting her remain a child. So I thought such self-righteous things, irritated that she would rely on me when I forced her to. Feeling like I was the one who was right, made the decision to break up with her. But Lulu, what the hell, you absolute asshole. Stop, I didn't want to see this anymore. This was the moment that our relationship of many years ended. This was when I hurt her. I clutched my aging heart, held back painful, hot tears that threatened to spill out of my eyes from regret that even if we had broken up, had been so cruel. A spark of light started at my feet. Tendrils of flames slithered into the frame of this memory. The corners of this memory began to burn, crumbling like paper lit of flame. The glow of orange was a godsend for removing this memory from my mind. The voices in the memory petered out. Not that I remembered what remained to talk about. Perhaps the logistics of wrenching someone out of my life. I kicked at the memory, wishing to be in that pitch black darkness again instead. Embers from the burning edges flickered and flew through the air. When did the fire get this high? A chill ran down from my spine as I saw the flames grow, the bright red consuming everything. Then the fire rushed toward me. I shut my eyes and braced myself, feeling a deep fear that shouldn't have been within my gut. I didn't know that I was so scared of fire. I guess this is also like suggesting, like the fire incident. However, the pain never came. Okay, let me hydrate and then let's rant, I guess. Rope. So, where do you even begin with? Like basically, when you break up, like you kind of like don't want to be a pain in a way. I guess like you want to like or you either want to say like, well, I still would want to be together, like that's what you want to say, but like beyond that, like well, being together is like an agreement that takes two people. If one person goes like, well, we are done, then you can't like really say much. Like that's the end of it basically. And you don't like exactly want to be a pain about it. Even though like it hurts. So like even if it's not this bad, like this kind of like, well, being a jerk and like bad mouthing, you basically like you don't like at least like I don't want to really fight back too much. Like it doesn't feel right. Also like I guess like the other way around. Like when you're like, if you're like the one like making the decision to break up, like you kind of want to be like nice about it. Like being a jerk and like blaming the other person for it, like that's absolutely not it. Like, even if it is true, like you don't want to do it. Like I think like the like noble way to break up is to like blame yourself for it, basically. Even though that hurts too, but that's breakup, I guess. Well, like especially though, like in this case, because the main character was like bad modding Yangsu, like like what is he supposed to say? Like there's just nothing that will help. Also like, well, you're probably at the verge of crying, so how can you even speak in that kind of situation? That too. But even if you could, there's just nothing you can say. Like you can be like, yeah, it's my fault. Like that's all you can do, basically. You're like when you're on that side too, like you don't want to be a jerk, even if the other person is. Like basically, like no matter what you do, you don't want to blame the other person for the breakup. No matter which side you're on and who starts it. At least like that's how I see it. It's like this scene, like, well, apart from like the main character being like jerk and then some extra, like that's like a little bit. Well, I guess it happens, but it's hard to relate to for me. But seeing like it feels so real because it kind of works the same way it does in real life. That's why it hurts. That was a bit tougher than the horror, to be honest. Whoop, rant over. However, the pain never came. I came to with a gasp. The yellows and oranges of fire burning out the windowless building with stained walls. A door with fogged glass stood before me under the hum of fluorescent lights. The goal is to reach the rooftop. Eleven's voice came from above once more, magically filling the whole building despite not a single speaker in sight. Good luck. Hearing Eleven's ending statement, I realized that I didn't hear anything that she had explained. I missed the rules while I had been daydreaming, if that could be called a daydream. I mentally scolded myself, but didn't dwell on it. I had no time to do so. I caught the last part. The goal was to reach the rooftop. It could be that what usual horror trope that, well, no rules. You get to like murder others and only the one who reaches wins. Hopefully not though. I don't know, now I feel extra bad though about thinking about like Eleven's route. If this was anything like the other games, there was likely a time limit attached to it. I had to hurry and find Yangsu. Whipping my head around, I realized there were no contestants nearby. Chances were that we were all placed in random locations again. I decided to spend some time looking for Yangsu and missed the first part of the instructions, but I could trust her to give me the details. Like there is the possibility that she's like doing something yandere, but hopefully not. Like there are definitely grounds for it because the main character was a huge jerk. Also, like that was like a week ago, I guess, like if I recall correct. Yeah, that's a yikesy. Like maybe it's not like too late to say that you're sorry. But still, like even a week is really long time when you do that. Even like a day can be a really long time, so... Ooh. I ran through hallways and opened room doors, but didn't see Yangsu anywhere. Finally, I came to a stop in front of an elevator. I would love to find Yangsu, but we are all going to the same place. If I go up, I'm bound to run into her. So she did say that she wants to make us succeed like no matter what, but it's also kinda sounds self-sacrificial. But that doesn't make me feel that she's like up to anything yandere. This would be nice. My mind made up. I pressed the up button on the elevator. Elevator doors opened immediately after we had been waiting on this floor. Or maybe like there is. Maybe you need to do something other than getting on the rooftop too. Upon entering the elevator, I found only 2 valid floor buttons on the operation panel. I don't think they'd use a building with only 2 floors for this trial. I crumpled as the doors closed, and the metal box jerked upwards. And the nice thing about visual novels is that you know like where the choices are. I guess unless it is Black Lace Tale. But it would be way more stressful if this were like an RPG Maker game. I was greeted by the gloomy atmosphere of the second floor. No windows, hallways extending from both sides, with numerous rooms attached to it. As I strolled through the hallways opening doors, I found that some rooms led to more hallways. But this is a maze of hallways. Should I known I can't rely on physics in these trials. Based on that theory, I returned to the lobby with the elevator. I was in and scratched my nails into the paint of the elevator frame. It would save me time of checking an elevator that only goes downwards. I returned to the hallway I was in and walked to its end. Dead end. Time to pick another path through one of the doors. Quota for the second floor has been met before reaching the first floor time limit. The first floor is now off limits and ghosts will begin feeding momentarily. Nope. I guess there is a time limit. How nice of her to repeat the rules. Well, I can't dilly-dally then. I better find another elevator, some stairs. I wandered through the hallways blindly. I had no way of telling whether I was going the right way. Was passing this trial going to simply be blind luck? Like honestly, I would like this mission if they didn't reveal the rules. Like I would like that more. But I guess like it is in Tame that it is a time trial basically, but I don't know. it would be neat if it were like something else, like something like you didn't know what it was, and like that was the idea basically. Anyway, I hope not. I never liked relying on luck. Always planned for my success. Luck was just a backup. But I didn't truly have any chances in this trial. Hallway after hallway, door after door. Then my feet screeched to a stop at an open door. Delicate yellow eyes widened as they caught mine. Hi Lu. Yang-shu. I stopped myself from hugging her, but I couldn't stop the smile on my face. Just like that, the anxiety that was eating away at my stomach simmered down to nothing. Tat. She averted her eyes, but I saw the tiny smile of relief graze her lips as well. I'm relieved to see you. Me too. She was clutching her phone, but placed it in her pocket as soon as she noticed me eyeing it. I was just using it for comfort. No, I'm here now. I think I'm better comfort. But that's some confidence given like how much comfort you were just a week ago. Yes, that. I already checked this room and hallway. I didn't find any stairs. I shook my head. Nothing this way either. I came up by elevator, so keep an eye out for that. Okay, there's another door in this room. Might as well continue from there. Sounds like a plan. We walk through hallway after hallway, room after room, together. Side by side, shoulders barely touching. I could reach out and grab her hand. I could give her the comfort that we both needed. But her hands were in her pockets. One likely thumbing the edges of her phone, and mine were curled into fists. Be mature, Hailu. We broke up because it was better for her. Well, I don't know, I guess like in the sense that you were a jerk, like in that sense maybe, but I'm not sold on that. Is this like how like people deal with a breakup when they were the jerk? No, like this is a kind of like way of thinking. Like it does come up, I guess. Like maybe the main character is like, well, I was the problem basically. I can see that. That definitely happens. Rekindling a flame after dying, doing a life or death game wasn't the right place for it. Well, like I could see there being a way basically, like you could just like, you know, like at least like an half mention that. By the way, I'm sorry about the breakup. I was a jerk. Maybe that's actually like not a bad way. Like it's not like forcing her to come back or anything, but it's like giving her like an absence. So like it could lead somewhere, but it's not like an unfair way to do it exactly. Well, like I'm guilty of like doing the like second chances trope in real life once and it didn't go well. But it can happen. It's probably easier like when it's just like 1 week, like maybe it's still doable at that point. But even then, like it's hard, like especially if you're the one who gets dumped. Like then you're like, whoa, that was so easy to get dumped, so is it going to be any better? Like maybe I'll get dumped next week again. I guess it's just not easy. Like it's fair too, I guess, because like people definitely like do weaponize like the like dumping the other, like in a toxic way. Like if you're not going to do this or that, I'm going to dump you, basically, like that kind of attitude. So like, well, that's a huge red flag. Like at that point you're like, well, run, basically. But still, how difficult would it be to just reach out, to pull at your sleeve and ask for her hand? Well, like, I don't know if you need to like ask for the hand, but say that you're sorry would be nice. Was it the same as before? Were her hands all soft skin and manicured nails? Was the shape of her hand still a perfect fit for my own fingers? I mentally scolded myself. Oh. Her exclamation startled me, but I was thankful for the distraction. There's an elevator. She hurried to press the button, but I grabbed her wrist and pulled her back. I recognized the mark I left on it. Like before, the elevator opened its doors immediately. Now this elevator is... Oh, man, an elevator, well, rip I guess. A man shoved between us and rushed into the elevator. Wait, the elevator is... Don't even think about coming in. This is my elevator, not yours. Well, have fun with that elevator, guy. No, that doesn't matter. Of course it matters. Didn't you listen to the rules? Not really. I'm not letting any stupid little girls take up the quota or the next floor. Especially not cheaters like you. Cheaters. Pointed an accusing finger at Yangsu. She shrank against me. I stepped in front of her automatically to shield her. You're the ones with the phone. You have been talking with the mastermind behind these games. What? Why even like a phone? I guess like you could have talked to 11, but we didn't really. Was she talking about 11? Didn't she talk with everyone? Don't try to play dumb. You're the only one who brought the phone to the afterlife. Yeah, but I think it's more because it is like a comfort device. Behind me, I felt Yangsu bury her head in my jacket. I'm sorry. It's not her fault that she was given her phone. How does that even give us an advantage? There's no signal here. He bared his teeth in frustration. He knew I hit the nail on the head. What good could a phone do for us in a death game? I don't care, you're not getting on. No, that's not it. That elevator won't bring you to the next floor. Bullshit. Lying must be part of your strategy too, isn't it? Well, it isn't, but well... What? No, I'm telling you. I reached out to grab at the doors, but it was too late. My fingers barely reached the metal, and the elevator doors sat closed. The elevator emitted a whirring sound as it descended, and as its occupant realized the consequences of his actions. Nya! Yangtze shuddered against me, and I turned to cover her ears in a hug. 7-segment light above the elevator frame changed from 2 to 1. Despite wanting to block it out, my ears still focused on the sounds of flesh being torn from bones. After a few minutes of silence, Yangtze relaxed against me, and I loosened my hold on her. She continued to shudder against me, and the little puffs of her breath against my collarbone told me she was crying. I rubbed her back gently, trying somehow to provide her a bit of comfort. I guess like this probably hurts her because but the main character was also like accusing her, and now like these randos are accusing her too for nothing. Hello. You're crying. A warm hand reached up to my eyes, delicately wiping the tears from the corners. I'm fine, I said, despite the number of times she had to swipe her soft fingers over the bottom of my eyelashes. Are you alright? Yes. Then let's get going. Yes. I took her hand and started leading her through the hallways and doors again. Surely we can trust her, like that's not false at least. Reliance thing, but it's more complex. I guess this is probably better. Like, what is the main character even like achieving by thinking about this? Well, let's try this. Comfort went 2 ways, didn't it? Perhaps it was true that she would never make it through these trials without me, but it was also true that I'd never make it through these trials without her. No, we would have gotten like pulled to the bottom of the pond by the ghost if it weren't for her, but that's true. There's something about Yangtze that completed me. And it wasn't my desire to protect or support her like I originally thought. No, I couldn't be more wrong. She was her own person. She was never suffocated in my arms. I was just too arrogant to realize it, huh? I laughed bitterly at myself. All that wasted time and tears is something funny. Just myself. I like it when you tell jokes. But then you're just you. I think you're amazing. I think you're amazing too, Yangtze. You are an incredibly reliable girl. He walked silently for several twists and turns when Yangtze tugged at my hand to stop. Hello. She pointed at a dark spot in the ceiling of the corner we just rounded. Squinting in the dim light, I made out the bottom half of a ladder, colored just enough to barely blend into the wall. I completely missed it. A ladder. I reached out to pull the ladder fully down. Good find, Yangsu. She smiled at me, a genuine, unafraid one, and my heart skipped a beat. I couldn't stop myself from smiling back. Here, you go first. I reached out to take her hand again, pulling her over to the ladder until I could practically hug her. I held the ladder steady for her to climb. When Yangsu pulled herself up on the third floor, I followed suit. I was worried that the quota would be full, but that would be a pretty unsatisfactory ending. On the third floor, we found ourselves in a room with 2 doors. Yangsu was already looking around in interest as I joined her. It's like a good jar. A what? Which one of her historical dramas was this term from? Good jar. It's a poisonous curse. You put poisonous creatures together in a jar and seal it. Then over time, they'll eat each other until only one is left. That victor supposedly has the poison equivalent to all the creatures the jar started with. I crossed my arms and shifted my weight uneasily, trying to get rid of the chill that settled at the end of my spine. It was just a fairy tale, ridiculous fiction. But there is the issue that maybe just one person can get to the rooftop. But I guess then we two just never how to ascend. But hopefully that's not the case either. But the quota thing kinda sounds like that. Yet I was here participating in a dead game to return to life. That's so creepy, why would anyone do that? Yangsu shrugged. People used to believe in all sorts of nonsense. The spirit that resulted from the ritual was capable of all kinds of malevolent acts. The type that's popular in dramas these days are the mother-child goo-worms. Things like hard goo, mind control parasites. It was a popular trope. Is the historical black magic attributed to the Meow people from over a millennium ago? Who knows if it's really real or not though. This gave much more detail than I expected. So how are we like this good jar? It's not like we are eating each other. It is kinda like that though. Like the ones get higher faster, eliminate the others, I guess. Given that the quota hasn't been announced to be filled yet, we aren't the last people who got to the floor, I guess. No, but the way we seem to be sacrificing one another. Couldn't argue with that. Not with that man's screams still ringing in the back of my head. Let's not think too much about this. Besides, we'll both win and return to life. If that's possible, neither of us will become the good jar spirit. We'll do this together. Yes. Like if she knows the rules, then I guess like it's not just one person. So there's a possibility that she didn't hear the rules either. More wandering through hallways and doors. I began to feel queasy from frustration. At least the interior decorator, nice enough to leave occasional furniture, a bloody stain on the walls of this floor to help determine if we'd walked in a large circle. Just as I was about to verbalize my frustration in the form of the most offensive insults towards the king of the element court's mother, I opened the door in the hallway with a map rammed behind a glass bulletin board. Pretty like blurry Chinese symbols, it's hard to tell. Hard to tell what they are. Oh, it is a visual novel, so surely the characters will solve it. It's a map of the next 3 floors. There was even a friendly "You are here" star for easy reference. Well, I guess now you can see it with the phone. Youngsu, you still have your phone, right? Let's take a few pictures and make our way through the next floors quickly. Right. Maybe that man was right. Maybe having a phone was an advantage. No, forget it. That man was dead. Besides, I would use any advantage I could get. I looked over at Youngsu, who was busy taking careful close-ups of the maps. I wanted to see her alive. The maps truly were a godsend. We found the stairs to the next floor in less than 20 minutes. What's wrong? It's nothing. Slowed to a stop. Youngsu nearly walked past me. It's not nothing. I can't tell. We barely spent any time apart. I could see it in the way she shifted her eyes, the slight quirk of her left eyebrow, and the way she pulled at her pink hair strands. Don't you think this floor looks different? No, we are on a different floor. Yes, but it's like the walls are getting darker. I swept my eyes across the room. I don't know. It looks the same as the first one, I think. The first floor was already plenty dark with its flickering lights and lack of windows, but it was true. This floor did look darker, like something was growing on the walls, aging them in not yellow tint but a muddy tar. Let's just hurry to the next floor. Since Youngsu pointed it out, I could really see it once we got to the next floor. Not only did the walls feel darker, edges and frames of doors and objects felt uneven. The 90-degree turn of a hallway was bent, but when we got close, it had realigned itself. Instead of the door, 3 feet away looked jagged. This was making me uneasy. But no idea like what it is trying to say. Still, we followed the pictures of the maps in Yangsu's photo gallery. I think we turn here. That's a dead end. I can see the end of the hallway. But maybe it's saying like it is illusions now. And you just need to rely on the maps. Oh, give me a sec. Let me see. She gave me the phone without hesitation. I swiped through the maps. It was a good thing she took so many pictures. Nothing was blurry when I zoomed. Oops. I clicked out of the photo viewer back into the gallery. Familiar smiles looked back at me through the grid of thumbnails. Mimi and Lulu holding the camera out to take a selfie. I swiped again and found them in a cherry talk in front of the sunset that a stranger took for them. Why is it like basically distancing the characters by using like the pet names as if they were different characters? The next swipe showed a kiss on the cheek in front of the toy store with its newly decorated Halloween windows. My heart leapt to my throat. The bubbly feeling of walking down the street with Mimi as we went shopping on a cozy autumn afternoon. Lulu, did I really let all of that go? Did I really forget about all that, cherry-picked the rotten ones and threw away a perfectly good relationship? Lulu. She didn't deserve that. I didn't deserve her. Hi Lulu. I snapped out of my reverie and found Yangsu looking at me with a worried frown. Is something wrong? No, sorry, I just clicked the back button. Hold on, let me find the right picture again. Here we are. We just made a wrong turn in the room before. We'll be fine. Okay. I gave her back her phone and she walked ahead of me. I had to make sure she lives. It was the 7th floor. That's it for the maps. Yes. I trailed off as the world tilted and I caught myself on the wall. Hello. She reached out to steady me, but I wavered her off. I could pull myself together. I just have a headache. Let's take it slowly then. Oh, we need to make it to the top floor. Before Yangsu could respond, a buzzer rang and Levin's voice interrupted from above. The quota for the 6th floor has been met before reaching the 5th floor time limit. Well, I guess there are time limits too. Well, I guess that means that you can't just linger on the like floor before the rooftop. If there's just one person quota on the top. Fifth floor is now off limits and ghosts will begin feeding momentarily. See, we need to hurry, don't worry about me. I have survived worse. I don't know about that. We walked through door after door and hallway after hallway on the 7th floor. Our pace truly was much slower without the map. We had to check every route individually. As seconds ticked by, I couldn't prevent anxiety from eating through my brain. How many more floors were there? Would we have enough time to clear the next floors? I guess like 11 floors would be about right. We reached another room with a single door. Before I could reach the doorknob, it swung open, narrowly missing my nose. A man was on the other side of the door, and I tensed. Oh, sorry about that. Yangsu wilted beside me. The man was carrying a bat, but he didn't seem antagonistic. You don't want to go this way. I just checked every door in the past 5 rooms. The previous room had 2 other doors. Okay, I'll take one of them. He disappeared into the previous room. A metal bat. There are probably weapons littered throughout the trial again. But I guess like if there is quota, like well, that's one way to handle it, I guess. At least this guy was non-confrontal. Remembering what Yangsu said about Gujaras made me a little nervous. Oh, Yangsu, what you said about earlier? Boom. I was knocked off my feet, and the room went sideways as it trembled, and pieces of drywall flew in every direction. By some miracle, I managed to duck and cover my head in time to avoid the worst of it. Where? What's going on? Footsteps and screaming alternated with ringing in my ears. My body was heavy as I struggled to push myself up from the ground. There was fire. A fire had started due to the room that just exploded. My legs weren't listening to me. I couldn't get them to pick myself up. My head. Pounding in my head was getting worse. The smoke aggravated the pain like grey knives stabbing through my temple. There was fire. The panic was only secondary in my brain. Part of me was hiding, terrified, screaming. There was fire. There was fire. Get away. The scorching heat everywhere. The sear of freshly burnt flesh. Pain melting from skin to bone. Run, run. Don't let any of that touch you. I had to go. I was choking on more than just smoke. My lungs seized on me. The fear ran deep into my bones, paralyzing me to the spot. Let me hydrate. Yeah, they really are rubbing the fire thing on the main character. My brain kept saying leave, run. But my brain didn't understand. Yes, I had to get away. But my head hurt and my legs wouldn't move like I wanted them to. Look. Someone was pulling at my arm, pulling it away from my head. Stop, it hurt. There was fire. Look. I forced myself to take a couple of steps, swayed into the arms of the other person. Hi, Lou. Then finally, the heat was bearable. Oh, now I get like where the Lulu comes from. It comes from Hailu, like the end of it. That's probably where it comes from. I could breathe. I collapsed into the arms of the person who pulled me out. Hailu shook my shoulders. Yangsu. Bang. Fire, there was fire. Why again? Suffocation, shrapnel. Collapsing a foundation. Screams of terror. Hailu. Well, my eyes snapped open. Well, like explosives though. That's a little different than like an ordinary fire. Yang's grip was tight on my shoulders, her arms trembling enough to shake me as she did. Yangsu, what? There's still debris and the smell of smoke in the air, but we clearly weren't sitting in the center of a firestorm. It's like interesting, like it's a little confusing, like which parts of this are like real and which are like the trauma of the fire or whatever that happened. The damage of whatever happened didn't reach this far. My pounding heart slowed down. My breathing fell back to normal pace and thankfully the ringing in my ears stopped. There was an explosion. He pulled me out. She nodded and I pulled myself into a sitting position in front of her. How far did she drag me? It couldn't have been easy to bring both of us to a place of relative safety. An explosion within the building could have easily caused a cave-in and for us to fall to one of the lower floors. She could have easily left me behind to save herself. Instead, she dragged my useless body along with her. Thank you. A familiar buzzing sound rang through the building and made both of us jump. Hope. The quota for the 8th floor has been met before reaching the 7th floor time limit. 7th floor is now off limits and ghosts will begin feeding momentarily. I guess we'll have fun with ghosts too, of all things. 7th floor. Panic shot through my body as I recalled the floor we were on. Aren't we on the 7th floor? Yangsu nodded solemnly, fingers tightening around my arm. She was doing her best to school her expression in something calm, but I didn't miss the way her bottom lip trembled. I opened my mouth to say something reassuring, but my brain didn't catch up with my mouth and no noise came out. Instead, as if on cue, an aggravated gaggle sounded from the next room. We had to go. I struggled to my feet, my head still throbbing. With Yangsu's help, I managed to get up and start down the hallway. Hello, are you alright? I'm sorry, Yangsu, I promise I'm okay. I really wasn't, but I couldn't let her feet around any longer. She already saved my life. I couldn't let her lose any more precious time. Let's get going. The apology was at the tip of my tongue, but now wasn't the time. If I had time to feel guilty about putting her in this situation, I had time to let her out of it. Oh, there they are again. The door beside me broke down with a crunch, wood splintering everywhere as a monster crawled its way out. Behind it, I could see at least 5 more. As if one wasn't bad enough, there was no way I could fight a pack of them. Run! I grabbed Yangsu's hand and we ran down the hallway. The monster pounced at Yangsu, but I pulled her away just in time. It landed on a table with a decorative vase instead, causing it to split into a million pieces on the floor. Come on. We turned the corner and thankfully found a staircase leading up. Yangsu, I'm right behind you. Ah. My stomach lurched and I turned so fast the ends of my ponytail whipped my cheek. The monster clutched onto the end of her jacket and Yangsu grabbed on the railing before he could pull her off her feet. Yangsu. She kicked it once, but it wasn't enough to get the monster to let go. My eyes searched the area for a weapon, but the only thing in the stairway with us was the railing, and that was attached firmly to the walls. No. Yangsu whacked the monster across the face as hard as she could. That did the trick. The monster let go just as the remains of her weapon flew across the air into the landing of the 8th floor. Her phone screen cracked, and the metal bent in an odd shape, crashed onto the floor and flaked more plastic pieces onto the ground. Her eyes widened and her feet stilled. Yangsu, hurry! There were more monsters behind her. Oh, it's fine. You don't need phone anyway in the afterlife. I ran back and pulled her with me past the last step onto the landing. The monster, still crawling and drooling at us, stopped at the second to last step. It was as true as though there was a wall between us. How is it supposed to work though? Like when the quota is already full? Maybe there can be like more people in the floor. But like when the quota is full, like the floor below will be more monster territory. Maybe that's how it works. It's okay, we are... Well, like, in theory, like, you could just have, like, all the people, like, gather together and, like, go through the stairs together. Then the quota wouldn't matter, right? Well, would assume though that they are cooperative, which hasn't been the case. It's... I turned to find Yangsu was sinking to the ground, the remains of her phone before her. It was in a state of disrepair. The screen flashed in a multitude of black and white lights, a couple times before de-energizing, probably forever. Perhaps the battery could be recovered, but the phone that had been slammed that hard into the monster surely had transistors and other components damaged and ripped out of place. The memory in silicon states no longer retained information that was once stored within. Well, like if it has like a flash card or something in it, maybe you can save the photos even though it is afterlife, so probably doesn't matter that much. She picked up the device and hugged it close, eyes staring listlessly at the ground. Yangsu. I knelt by her side, patting her gently on the back as she trembled occasionally. Mostly, she just looked at the ground. Her breathing was steady but heavy, as though each breath took tremendous effort. What do I do? What do I say? Well, I'm sorry. No, it's okay, don't apologize. Yangsu wiped at her eyes, but the tears still spilled over. With her nose running, she shook more in my arms now. I'm so sorry. It's just a stupid phone, I know, yet It's not stupid. I know that phone's important to you. It was okay to grieve. The smallest things that gave us comfort. It was okay to grieve, because even if it was a useless, neglectable part of our lives, we still gave a part of ourselves to it. Yangsu was sobbing now, bawling her eyes out as I held her against me. I ran my fingers across her back, trying my best to give her comfort. Did this comfort her? Was this okay to do? As long as Yangsu didn't move away, I'd do this for her all night. Monsters crawling in our ears or not. It had all of our memories. Everything I had of us. It was all I had left. It's so Let me pour myself more lemonade. Like in a weird way, streaming has taught me how to smile even when I'm sad. Like the smile part of the facial expression, like it is pretty accurate most of the time. You said goodbye to me, and then I died. It's all I had left. She sobbed into my arms as I began to understand the meaning of that phone. She had loved it dearly when we were alive, so I didn't question why it appeared with her in death. But I didn't know the reason why she loved it so much. All of you had left of us, huh? I need to wipe tears. That's like one of the good things about having the VTuber avatar. And you know, people don't need to see you cry. I continued to run my hand down her back, cradling her as she cried. The guilt was a bitter taste to swallow. Youngsu, I'll get you a new phone. And we'll make more memories together. That got her attention. She pushed herself off me, staring at me with wide, hopeful eyes. Really? Really? When we are alive again, we can make more memories together. Shaken from her stupor, I'm able to help her stand up, and we sat down halfway on the 8th floor. I managed to get Yangsu to move with me, but she was still quiet, only looking at her feet as we walked. The broken phone remained in her pocket. If it was so easy to cheer people up, I supposed no one in the world would be sad. However, walking in silence began to make me uneasy. Yangsu, don't you think that everyone can pass this last trial together? We just saw that we can still make it through an off-limit floor alive. If we help each other, can't we all survive? Well, that's what I was thinking too. Like the two of us, I wanted to say, but I held back. I don't think humans are capable of the kindness that requires. Like some humans are. As long as like the baseball bat guy and the other troublesome people aren't there. True. I narrowed my eyes. It's not really my problem anyways. Yes, the only ones I needed to care about seeing through this game was Yangsu and I. Like the game has like antagonized the other characters a little bit too. So that's the thing. But I guess like that's like the Tame horror part. Like it would be like the rough kind of horror if the like the other characters had been shown to be like really nice. Then this would be harder for sure. Or even just Yangsu. That would be more than adequate. Crowbars. There's two, so you take one. I held the crowbar out to her, which she thankfully took after a moment of hesitation. Oh, she's wielding it too. Well, there are explosions and crowbars, and like there are kind of mutants too, so I guess we are in Half-Life. But I guess it's also kind of fits like we are in Half-Life too, in the sense that we are half alive and half dead. It's a weird thing, but it works. It didn't look right in her delicate hands. She really didn't belong here, but come on, Yangsu, we are almost there, just keep fighting a little longer. Okay. She was still listless. Could it be that my words earlier weren't enough? Do you doubt me, Yangsu? Boy, it is very natural to doubt you in this situation. About your phone. Don't think about it anymore, okay. She was still thinking about her phone. What could I say? Like nothing is surely wrong. Like go out with me like it could be right depending on the wording. But like you would have to like have the apology there too. Like saying nothing like, I don't know. I would like there to be like sorry here basically, or like I was a jerk basically. And nothing is like just like more of that in a sense. I guess it doesn't have to be. Or maybe it's like, well, I don't want you out basically. But this is not like... I guess you can say it, but it doesn't feel so impactful with this exact wording. I guess like what would be like the best would be like basically like I was wrong, in the sense that I was like wrong about what I did when dumping you, and like what I said. Oh, let's try this. She didn't trust my words earlier, then I'd better make them clear. Yangsu, are you worried about what I said? Do you think I'd go back on our words and drift apart, never making memories again? Well, she looked forlornly at the broken phone in her hand. I faced her, our eyes met, but she quickly looked away. No, that wouldn't do. Softly, I held my hand up to her face, guiding her back until we locked eyes again. Yangsu, I promise we'll make new and better memories again. When we get out of this alive, will you go out with me again, Yangsu? Mom. She stumbled over her words, taking far too long with an answer. My cheeks heated up. I'm glad that the lighting was dim. Even if she was averting her eyes, the less chance of her seeing my embarrassment, the better. I guess she's not like fully sold on it, but it wasn't bad exactly. I hope there aren't many more floors after this. Yeah, come on, it's just a little. I was cut off as I spied a black object coming towards my head from the corner of my eye. Object crashed into the wall beside me with a smash. I guess it is one of the reckless survivors again. I had moved my head back just in time for a hammer to swing into the wall where I was standing. It crushed the C-truck, a round stamp where the tool buried itself. Yep. I took a last breath of air as my brain registered what had nearly happened. Stay back. Haha, got good reflexes, don't you? I stayed in front of Yangsu, glaring at the man before us. He grinned as he pulled his hammer free of the wall. What are you doing? What do you think? Ensuring my win, of course. I saw the ninth floor. It's the roof. The roof. My eyes widened at the realization that we were so close to our goal. Just a few more steps and we would be done with these games. However, the man that stood between us didn't seem all too friendly. I gritted my teeth. Of course, there would be one final fight before the end. I don't need to outrace anyone if I just kill you all here. Camera swung toward me and I swung my crowbar just in time to parry his hit. Stop. He took another swing at me, letting out a maniacal laugh as he did so. I stepped back to dodge, moving down in the stairway. No way. Only way to get away from him safely was to remain on the 8th floor. Ah. Another hit, another step back. Hits kept coming, and it was all I could do to keep up parrying against it. Within minutes, we were halfway down the flight of stairs. Was there another way to the ninth floor? Based on how the floor quarters kept shrinking, probably not. I slipped against the last step and tripped backwards, landing on my butt on the 8th floor. Crowbar flew out of my hands. I got you now. He raised the hammer and covered my head with my arms to brace for the blow, but it never came. A body dropped beside me on the 8th floor. Yangsu stood about 5 steps above me, gripping her metal crowbar so tightly her knuckles were white. Beside me, the man laid face down, unconscious, but still taking shallow breaths. Hello, Standing, I walked up to Yangsu and gently pried the crowbar out of her hands. It fell to the ground with a clatter, rolling step by step until the 8th floor. It's okay. I pulled her into a hug just as the tears started bubbling over. He's still alive. Oh, not for too long, I would assume. Well, I guess there is the possibility that you can drag him up the stairs to the finish line, but does he deserve that? Her shoulders sagged with relief, and I spent a couple of minutes patting her back softly. When she finally stopped shaking, she took my hand and we ascended the last few steps onto the 9th floor, the rooftop. It's like 9th floor, like 9 hells or something, like that's a concept, right? The quota for the rooftop has been met before reaching the 8th floor time limit. The 8th floor is now off limits and ghosts will begin feeding momentarily. Well, congratulations. Well, that guy though, nope. He could have just been nice and walked to the finish line with us, but I guess not. The diamond sky stretched endlessly above us. I had never seen a sight like this before. There were no buildings, no light pollution. Nothing in the horizon blocked the Milky Way as it flowed easily above us. Was this sight real? How come I never saw it while I was alive? Perhaps some things were only privy to the dead. The living had so much already. This is beautiful. I turned my eyes from the glittering blue hues above us to look at Yangsu. Her eyes were still glued to the sky, despite her eyelashes still being wet. The smile on her face was genuine. The sky paled against her. The living had so much already, but that didn't mean that it was allowed to keep beauty to itself. Her hand was warm against mine, fingers curled perfectly around each other as we stood there. She watched the sky, but I was too distracted to watch with her. I loved her. I loved her so much. In the back of my mind, a memory bloomed, repressed so far that it had hurt, because I loved Yangsu. So it hurted so much when she It was a crowded day in the mall, perhaps more so than a normal weekend. Maybe it was some holiday. I forgot to look at my calendar. It didn't matter. I worked odd hours and took time off on even stranger days. Sorry, I'm late. It's alright. Thanks for being willing to meet with me. Of course, I promised. Just a shopping trip. With the girl I broke up with a month ago. But it couldn't be put off any longer. Young's co-worker had requested some specialty products from a store we used to frequent together. Which was why I had a special club card that allowed us into the store. It was why I had to meet up with her to go shopping. It was okay. After all, it had been a month. Even if we walked with a meter of space between us. Even if I kept catching her glancing at me every 5 minutes. It was okay. I breathed a sigh of relief as we stepped out of the store. The worst was over. Forcing myself to look away, keeping conscious of how close we should walk together. Submerging the earth to reach out and take her hand. I couldn't help her hold her hair out of her face anymore. It didn't matter. Her eyes were glued to her phone most of the time anyways. She only looked up when I asked questions to make sure we got what her co-worker wanted. I let out another breath of air. Was I the only stupid one? Smelled of the strawberry shampoo I got for us just last month because she wanted to try a new brand. It was a good choice. It was for the best, I kept telling myself. It was for the best. Any other opinion would make me break down in tears. Well, it was good meeting you with you. Could I take up a bit more of your time? What for? There's just a few more things I want to get from the other stores. Since you're here with me, why don't we go together? She was squeezing her phone in her hands, Tame absent-mindedly turning it on to pretend to look at the time every 2 seconds. Alright. I was making a mistake. Thank you. Relax. It's no big deal. I didn't have any plans for the rest of today. Okay, I just wanted to get a few things from... Her demeanor changed completely. She was suddenly excited. Nervous energy completely gone. I wondered what was going through her mind. Was she planning something? Could you wait a bit? I need to stop by the bathroom. Yeah, that's fine. It's right there. I'll wait here for you. She nodded and handed me the bags. There's really so many. Gunshots rang out and people started screaming. Everybody, hands up. This is a... Okay, now I see what it's all about. This scene. A terrorist attack of all things. I don't know, I kinda like the fire thing better. I couldn't believe it. This didn't happen in real life. And of course, no one listened to the man with the gun. Everyone started screaming and running away in fear. It wasn't until someone got shot and blood had sprayed all across the floor tiles that people started kneeling down fearfully with their hands over their heads. Thankfully, it was just one man versus the mob of police officers that arrived. With their hands full, I quickly stood and took charge. Everyone, it isn't safe. Let's get out while the police take care of them. I guess like explosion next then, and then fire. With everyone still dazed and confused, it was easy to simply climb on the railings and point toward the closest exit. Finally, the last of the people in the area had left the building. On the far ends of the mall, people were still being evacuated, but they were far enough that they were practically gawkers rather than hostages. Thank you, miss. You were a great help. I'm just doing my civic duty. An exemplary citizen. Don't worry, the police have this under control. Bob. Dead to this government, we will all be judged by the courts of hell. Huh. Bob. The world flashed in the hot red. I couldn't hear. All I heard was a high-pitched frequency. Smoke and dust filled the air. I coughed as I struggled for a breath of fresh air. What happened? What happened? There had been a flash. What did the terrorist throw? A bomb? Was it a grenade? Screams erupted around me. The world reoriented itself. Pain shot through my right arm and leg. My entire right side burned. With bone and red blood stared back at me where my right hand used to be. Wah! Ah! I let out a scream at the sight of my hand. I screamed until smoke clogged up my throat and fell to the ground coughing. Out. I needed to get out of here. Everything hurt so bad. Trying to put any pressure on my right leg hurt so bad. Ah, help. I collapsed back to the ground, blood pooling from my missing hand and from an unknown cut in my leg. I couldn't move. No. It was hot, too hot. My skin was melting off my fingers. Charred in front of my eyes. I couldn't push myself off the ground. Help. Help. Lulu. Youngsu's voice cut through the flames. Before I saw her running through them, I was frantically looking for me as the cotton clothing caught on fire. Me, no, not you. I struggled toward her, gasping for air as she crumpled beside me in pain, desperately trying to put out the fire that burnt her sleeves and back. Lulu. Yeah, it's kinda rough, but well. feels like kinda unrealistic, like the ordinary fire thing would be like scarier because it would be like more real. Like sure, like there is a chance that this kind of incident happens in real life, but it is like really small. She was crying. Was she crying for me? You idiot. The streaks of tears that rolled down my face weren't from pain anymore. At least, not from any physical pain. I watched as Youngsu's skin blistered and bubbled, her lungs gasping for air as the flames closed in on us. Why did it have to happen to you? Not you. You shouldn't have been here. I snapped awake with a gasp, almost jumping out of the chair in shock. Instead of the chair rocked underneath me. Instead, the chair rocked underneath me and I nearly tipped it over and landed on my back. High. My heart rate decelerated to a more acceptable pace as I realized with relief that Youngsu sat in another chair beside me. Not that I was cold. I could take in my surroundings. We were in the same room as when I first arrived, in the same chair, I'm sure. But the courtroom had been set up. Shadowy figures stood on the balcony of the second floor. A bold woman in red armor stared down at us with distaste on her lips. Below her, a less decorated table in the center front of the room. 11 sat with a small smile on her face. She looked proud of us. Perhaps she was on our side after all. Youngsu. How should I word this? Why did you come into the fire? Youngsu's brows furrowed in confusion. Fire? I was about to elaborate when her eyes widened in understanding. She looked down at her hands, which twiddled nervously now that she couldn't play with her phone. You're asking about when I died. Yes, I finally remembered. I'm sorry it took so long. You looked... Well, it was reasonable for my brain to attempt to flush that memory down the toilet. You were a good distance away from the blast. You would have lived if you didn't run into the fire. I wasn't thinking. I know, Hilo, I'm stupid and useless. Still a struggle. Well, let's try to calm down. Like it's not struggle in the way that you screw somebody, it's struggle in the way that it hurts to think about people suffering. But when I saw you there, I couldn't think. And after I ran in, there was no way out. Yangsu, and so... I'm interrupted by the soft hit of a cable. I looked forward to find 11, with her hand still on a rectangular wooden slab. Defendants, welcome to the 11th court. Congratulations on completing the game of life. At these words, the audience on the balcony started to laugh and applaud. Yay, yay, woo. I didn't see or hear anything amusing. And thus, you have earned the right to a review of your sins and actions. Part of me felt like the order was reversed. After the torture of the game of life, it felt like we were already dropped in hell. 11 cleared her throat. I will now review your actions throughout the past 3 trials. Honestly, it was rather torturous to sit through a summary of our near-death experiences in the past few days, which was an odd emotion to process when I'm already dead. 11 smiled at us. As a judge of the 11th court, I declare Guan Halu and Cheng Jiangsu not guilty. I guess you would be guilty if you weren't nice during the trials. I guess like the hammer guy though would have been guilty regardless. So nothing lost there. A silence permeated through the room. Without 11's voice, we could hear a pin drop. Looking up, I saw the king looking down at us over her nose. Beside her, a couple of the monsters nodded to themselves, almost smiling at 11's declaration as they glanced with mocking apathy at their supposed lord. From their seat proximity to the king's throne, I wondered if they were close officers. The king gritted her teeth, but leaned back in her seat without a word. Then finally the court of monsters roared back to life. On the first floor, monsters started standing from their seats, grumbling insults in protest. How dare, not guilty, is he attempting a coup? That girl is sure to be punished if the king is mad. What if the other courts notice us? 11th court is such a perilous place. What is he thinking, upsetting the balance with this verdict? Bang, bang, bang. Quiet, who gave you the right to speak? Do you have doubts about my work and research? She slammed her hand against a stack of books on the side of her desk. If so, feel free to check my work. The court was silenced again. So even vengeful ghosts fear paperwork. Huh. 11 stood with a sweep of her robes and stepped in front of her desk to face us. Congratulations once again. Now, what will you choose? Mingpa's soup or returning to life? Undo my death. Please. I want to go back to being alive. 11 shook her head. And you? Yangsu had not answered, and and I felt my heart drop as I looked at her. She looked at 11, then down at her hands. So I was the only one who wanted to go back to life together again. Yangsu closed her eyes and took a deep breath before turning to look at me. Let's hope we got enough affection points. Having been caught staring, I felt the heat rise to my cheeks, and I casted my eyes downward. When I looked at her face again, she was smiling. My face heated up further. Somewhere above, I heard a ghost laugh and whisper about my tomato face. As quickly words. Her voice was tiny. I didn't hear her, but I felt her words perfectly. I love you. I wish to undo my death as well. Please let me return to my life. A pair of fools fit for each other. She scowled, but there was no malice in her words. 11 pointed at something behind us, and we both turned to see what it was. A door had appeared on the far wall. As I looked back to the front, I realized with mild amusement that it was directly opposite the door to the first game. Go, get out of here, and do not return to the 11th court. With another flip of her ropes, she returned to her seat at the table and busied herself with papers once more. I looked at Yangsu once more and offered my hand as I stood. She smiled up at me and took it, pulling herself up to walk with me hand in hand toward the exit. The door handle was cool against my palm, but I didn't care. I was too busy looking at Yangsu, at the twinkle in her eyes, the bounce of each curl of hair, and the curve of her lips. Even the glow of afternoon sunshine couldn't tear my eyes away from her. Instead, it brightened her features and made her all the more radiant. Let's go. Yes. Wow. Let me save what I think will hopefully be able to play more. Let me see. I think it was F2 that. But hopefully it is saying that there is like another route that takes most of the words or the text boxes. Because surely this isn't halfway of this route. I opened my eyes to a familiar scene and a familiar backache from sleeping on the couch. Apartment living room was dim in the mid-afternoon light. I guess like the like the bonus story we can do the next time. But maybe I'm still like, I'm a little torn if I want to play the other route because I feel too sorry for Yangsu. So that might need to be left as an exercise for you people out there to play. I'm not sure yet. It kinda depends, but I have been struggling so much. I like seeing her die or something. It would be scary. Anyway, let's try to finish this route at least. The lights were off and the only windows were in the kitchen. There was only a soft streak of golden light that hit the door. I let out a groan as I sat up, doubling over to massage my temples. What happened? Memories of the last few days flashed through my mind in misaligned bursts. Chair, scalpel, forest, teeth, house key, maze pipes, court, Yangsu. Was it all a dream? It was so real, all the hair-raising moments, the near process with death. A second death like you were already dead. And well, death itself. I died. But between all of that, I had reunited with the person I missed the most. I even made up with her. A weight laid itself on my heart. That was definitely a dream. But part of me still wanted to hold under some hope that it wasn't. That I truly reconciled with Yangsu, that I was given a second chance after the biggest mistake of my life. I opened the door into Yangsu's old room, but unlike my dream, only blank, white walls stared back at me. Disappointment sank itself into my stomach, and I took a deep breath. Well, like obviously she's not there because you broke up, so you still need to find her in real life, I guess. It was true. It truly was too much to hope for, wasn't it? Yangsu was gone, taking every last bit of her from this apartment, and I had been the one to force her to do so. Only in my dreams would she come back here. Could I still be dreaming? If Yangsu was no longer here, this was certainly a nightmare. I should check the front door to confirm the rules of physics. The door opened in the familiar corridor of the other doors which led to apartments that mirrored mine. I had never been so disappointed in the lack of a black void. I nearly slammed the door shut as I retreated back into my apartment. The proof was piling up that it really was only a dream. Returning to the couch, I took out my phone and found that it was the same day as my death from my dream. I did a quick search through the news for a terrorist attack on the mall. Finding none, I dropped my phone on the couch. It didn't feel right to use my phone again after being so disconnected from real life for so long. Yangsu. I wondered how she was doing. If If that was all a dream, then she should be alive and well, right? Like imagine like basically it actually being a dream and like you phone her like we died and came back to life and I promised that we'll like go out together. And she's like, what are you talking about? That gave me some relief. Even if it was just a dream that we reunited after death and reconciled. At least it also meant that it was a dream where she died in such a horrible way. All because of me too. I might never recover from this. That might be a bit dramatic. I should get a drink to clear my head. My thoughts were interrupted by a soft knocking sound from the door. I furrowed my eyebrows. Was I expecting someone today? It was a day off for me, but I didn't remember making any plans. I'll be right there. I opened the door again, wondering who could it be? Young Sue. The heat rose to my face. I wasn't expecting you. Can I help you with anything? I averted my eyes. It was so difficult to look at her all of a sudden. Perhaps it was because I had dreamed about her, or perhaps it was because I was thinking so much about her. Either way, the longer we stood there, the more aware I was of how red my face must be turning. How about you come in? I can make some tea. Hello, I bought a new phone. Blessed the phone with a smile before placing it in her pocket once more. It didn't look any different from the one I remembered. Or do you have a new number? No, but I do have a promise. A promise with who? You promised we'll make new and better memories. We are both alive. So, will you go out with me again? Yangsu barely finished her question when I reached out to grab her by the neck, pulling her in for a kiss I had missed for well over a month. Yangsu made a small noise of surprise and she stumbled a couple steps backward. But then she reached up to wrap her arms around my neck and she was kissing me back. At some point, I pulled her into the apartment and locked the door behind her. This girl in my arms. Yes, of course I will. She smiled at me, bright and warm, and I pulled her in again for another kiss. Forever with her wouldn't be enough. I loved her. I loved her so much. Yangsu, I love you. I love you too, Hailu. Not even that would keep me away from her again. Ah. I need to wipe tears again. Just a tiny bit. Oh, it was so touching. It wasn't the horror that was the tough part, it was how sad it was. But it was great. It was so great. I was worried that it would be too scary, but it wasn't exactly scary. It was moody. Had like not much really in terms of horror. Sure, I guess like people died, but that was like off camera, so it was fine enough. And like there were like a couple of like little gory descriptions, but well, the game wasn't dwelling on them, so it was fine. Yeah. Kinda depends on my mood whether I want to play the other route too. Currently, I'm a little scared. Because this was so great. Like this felt like the true ending to me. It might have been like easy to play it other way around, but now it's the usual dilemma for me. Like I don't know. Like maybe I'll just like spend the time on actually making a video again. That's been a while. I could make like I think I have played like enough like Tame horror games to maybe have like opinions at least. So I might do that, but I might also just like play the other route if I can gather the courage. But it's so great. Like atmosphere and like the way like how the how like the trials were kind of used for like telling the story of the characters too. Like the fire trauma thing, and then like the hints about like the breakup being sprinkled here and there. It was all so well done. It would be kind of a shame to not play the other route, but I'm just so scared. I think I'll do like some consulting later on. Like, whether I can handle it. But yeah, this was great. Like, this was like so good. I was really worried, but it was so good actually. Hope that was at least one one route of the final prize is soup. Yeah, thank you for watching. I had a ton of fun.